Welcome back, everyone. This is another session, another 6th grade session. And what we're going to do today is to work with our activity book. We are going to solve exercise C on page number 56. As you can see on screen, this is something related to a chronicle. It's about travel that Charles Darwin did back in 1831, and what we're going to hear here are some sentences, and then we are going to complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb. So with no further introduction, here we go. Listen to this so we can answer these words: the past or the present continuous form or the ing form of the verbs. So let's listen to this, okay?
Track 27. Welcome to Historical Chronicles. Today we are following in the footsteps of Charles Darwin and the voyage of the Beagle. The Beagle left Plymouth in England on December 27th, 1831. The ship was only 90 feet long, but it carried 74 people.
So here we have the first answer. The ship was only 90 feet long, but it carried 74 people. So this is the first answer that we should have here. I'm going to give you a few seconds to write it in case you don't have it. Okay, now let's continue listening to this.
One of those people was the naturalist Charles Darwin. Darwin was not a good traveler, and he felt seasick on the boat. However, the incredible variety of plants and animals he saw on his journey soon made him feel better. In February 1832, Darwin saw the Brazilian rainforests for the first time.
So here we have 3 more verbs that we need to write. It says Darwin, the past of this, because he was a naturalist. Darwin what? Well, Darwin studied the plants. He had never seen, this is incorrect. It should be different here. Seen. S-E-E-N. The Brazilian rainforest before. Darwin estudió las plantas. He had never seen, él no había visto the rainforest, Brazilian rainforest before, las selvas brasileñas antes. Here we go.
He was amazed by the variety of beautiful flowers and plants. Then the Beagle continued down the South American coastline. They stopped in Punta Alta in Argentina, where Darwin was fascinated by giant fossils. The boat then continued around the south of Argentina and into the Pacific. While they were passing Chiloé Island in Chile,
where without the H is not the same with an H and without the H. While they were passing Chiloé Island in Chile,
Darwin saw a volcanic eruption on
Darwin saw a volcanic eruption. Here we have the word observe. To observe is a different verb. In this case, it says observe. In the narration, it says saw, which is the past form of see. So I'm going to write observed. Okay? A volcanic eruption. I'm going to continue with this because we are supposed also to answer this one here. And we need to identify if it's Galapagos Island, Brazil, Argentina, Australia, Chile, Coco Island. Okay? So I know, because I've just heard this, that they were traveling, and the first place that he saw, or the first thing that he saw, was the Brazilian forests. So in this case, we should have number 1 here. Number 2, here we have Brazil, Argentina, Australia. Argentina, it says that he saw fossils, giant fossils. So we shall have this one here. Argentina. Number 3, Chile. It says that while they were passing Chiloé Island in Chile, they saw the volcanic eruption. So far we shall have this thing here. We still have a couple more places. Cocos Island, Australia, Galapagos Island. Let's continue listening to this interesting audio.
Cosmo. He was disturbed by the damage it caused. Later, at the Galapagos Islands, Darwin was impressed by the giant turtles. He even jumped on one's back and rode it.
Giant turtles, tortugas gigantes. So he was amazed about that, and he even sat on top of one of them and rode it. That means that he did something like this. He sat there and rode the turtle. He was sitting there, okay? So this is what he did. That's why this is number 4. Let's continue listening to this. We only have this one here and this one here. Here we go.
Darwin saw marsupials in Australia and studied coral reefs in the Cocos Islands. On the way back to England, he noted the strange shape of Table Mountain in South Africa. Darwin made careful observations of animals and plants and collected thousands of specimens. He called the journey the most important event of his life. However, he had expected the trip to last for only 2 years. In fact, it lasted for 5 years. Darwin missed his family. He was very happy when he finally returned home in October 1836.
That's it. Let's go to the next page. Here we have a comparison, una comparación between Britain and Mexico. So we're going to read everything about it. Please remember this. Remember that whenever you are saying numbers, you're going to take the numbers in pairs. So this is a year. This is not a quantity. You don't need to say 1,901. No. You're going to say the first 2 numbers. You're going to say that, and you're going to say 19. And then you're going to say the second part. 19 what? Well, 1901. 1901. Oh, why O? Because this is for people that speak English, like a 0, like an O. Oh, 1901 or 1901, okay? Be careful with that. I'm going to make the reading, so please listen to what I say. I'm going to do the reading because this is an action. I'm sorry for that. I'm not making, I'm doing. Thank you. Read it with me. Britain in the 19th century. In the 19th century, Britain became the world's first industrial society. The population increased from 9 million in 1801 to 41 million in 1901. Most people ate plain foods such as bread, butter, potatoes, and bacon. Meat was an expensive luxury. Bread became cheaper because ships and railways made it possible to import food. The first fish and chips shops opened in the 1860s. Sorry for that, 1860s. In the early 19th century, men wore cotton shirts, pants, and waistcoats. Women wore light dresses with a large frame or bottle at the back. What is bustle? Well, a bustle is a padded undergarment used to add fullness or support the drapery at the back of women's dresses in the mid to late 19th centuries. Bustles were worn under the skirt in the back, just below the waist, to keep the skirt from dragging. This is the bustle, okay? This kind of padded form, this is the bustle. That's what they used to wear back there in Great Britain in late 19th century. And here we have a sample of the food that Britain used to eat back in those times. Actually, they still eat that a lot. But what about our country? Mexico in the 19th century. In the early 19th century, most Mexicans lived in the countryside. Three products have formed the basis of Mexican food since pre-Columbian times: corn, chilies, and beans. These three products were also popular in the 19th century. Many boys wore plain white shirts and trousers with sandals. Girls also wore sandals and cotton dresses or skirts. In towns, some rich people wore clothes that followed European fashions. And here we have a picture of a Mexican boy laying on the floor. Here we have Mexican food from those times and from current times, actually. So you're going to complete this little table. Food for Britain, food for Mexico, clothes for Britain, clothes for Mexico. Okay? Please do it. I am going to give you a few minutes to solve that. I'm going to pause the video so you can complete that exercise there at home if you're at home. We did this on the last class, so we should have it, okay? But for those that did not, please answer this. Here is the pause for the video, and now please solve it. Okay, you should have paused this, and I am giving you a few seconds, and then we're going to see the answers. Here we go. Food in Great Britain and food in Mexico. This is what we have here. Food in Great Britain. Well, we have fish and chips shops. Fish and chips. What are fish and chips? Well, pescado y papas. Fish and chips. I'm going to show you the picture in a few seconds. And what about Mexico? Well, we have the same staples that we have now: corn, chili, and beans. So you should have something like that on your book. You're going to write, these are the fish and chips. Chips, fish. Let's write that. Fish and chips and corn, chili, and tortillas for Mexico. What about the clothing? Clothes. Clothing in Europe. Cotton shirts, pants, waistcoats. For women or for women, they used to wear like dresses with a large frame. So we can write things like this. What about Mexicans? What about our country? Well, white shirts and trousers with sandals, like the kid in the picture. White shirts and trousers with sandals. That's what they had. Let's write that here. So, in Britain, what they used to wear in Britain? Okay, here we go. Britain, cotton shirts, pants, and waistcoats. Women wore light dresses. And what about Mexicans? White shirts and trousers with sandals. Very good. Let's go to the next page. Exercise number 1. Write the numbers according to the pictures. Exercise B. You're going to write the end of story. Here we have it. Let's write something. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Pause the video and then please come back with your answers. Number 1. Darwin saw a volcanic eruption on Mount Osmo. That's the eruption. Number 2. Darwin was impressed by giant turtles. He even jumped on one's back and rode it. That is number 2. Number 3. The Beagle left port in 1831. Darwin was not a good traveler and he fell seasick on the boat. That is number 3. And number 4 is the last one. He was amazed by a variety of beautiful flowers and plants. That's it. Goodbye, kids.